Harry, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. It's good.
Exciting
It's always fun to
times,
like check back in.
right? I know we spoke part one, now part three, and first of all, it's like a lot of emotions are probably going through you the last few days with this, and like I said, I've watched the screeners. I'm sad it's over, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm very everyone knows that I'm just the complete mush ball out of the group. So I have shed many, many, many a tear. Happy tears, obviously, for what this whole experience has been and how wonderful it's been, and sad tears watching. I got to watch the episodes back as well, and seeing them go, seeing each character kind of sign off and have their moment is just so surreal.
What was your reaction like reading the script for the last five, the final installment?
Lots of tears as well.
Yeah.
I think I have some tear stained copies of the script of my own, but I think honestly it was also a lot of gratitude and joy. I felt at peace with it, which I didn't know that I was going to feel that way. I think I was like, how are they possibly going to wrap up everything that we've had going for so long into this, quick goodbye? Like, how could this possibly ever feel right? But it does. They did such a fantastic job, our creators and writers of the show, that reading it on paper, I was like, oh, yeah, I know that's exactly what that story should have been.
What was the biggest surprise for you for the last five?
Um, I mean, we knew, I think all of us kind of asked a few questions to kind of prep ourselves. And obviously, there's a lot of it that comes down to the physical prep aspect. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, should I be gearing up for a certain type of fight? Should I be, what opponent should I be practicing with right now to get myself ready? So we kind of all knew what the eventual fights technically were going to be, but it was more of the how do we get there,
Mm.
that I think everybody was interested in. I also did not see the Johnny curveball coming at all. So I was right there with the fans. Like, I can't wait to hear the reactions.
Mm. So Samantha, she's grown incredibly through the series and the last season. Like, how do you think her story evolves with part three? What was the most rewarding part about playing her in the final few episodes?
I think Samantha has had a lot of opportunities to learn over the years. And I think it's almost like all of it catches up with her at once. And like she's learned these lessons, little bits here and there as she's gone, but then it's just like all of a sudden a lot of these aspects are kind of falling into place as she's finally looking at things from a larger scope. And for me, I think what was the most rewarding moment actually was having the conversation with Ralph in the LaRusso kitchen in episode 13, where, she's so nervous. She's terrified to disappoint her dad, but knowing that she feels this is the right thing to do, and then feeling him just immediately, his pride in her and his gratefulness that she got to this place. I think that like moment just solidified her whole arc and story from the beginning for me, of finding her place where she fit in and not needing to prove it to anybody, and not even to herself, but to say, I've learned my lessons. I've checked every box I wanted to
Mm.
check. It's time to just sit back and cheer on the people who need it.
So you weren't disappointed that Samantha didn't finish her journey in the Sekai Taikai tournament?
Mary, was disappointed not to get more opportunities to fight because I love it and I have such a blast.
Yeah.
But no, for the sake of Samantha, I was really actually very proud of her in that moment, and it took me a second. I definitely was like gutted when I was realized, oh my god, I've already read my last fight and I didn't realize it.
Mm.
I read my last fight and didn't know it was going to be my last fight until I got to the point that I realized, oh shit, I don't have another one. So that kind of made me like, put some senior goggles on and look back at that last fight and be like, wow, wasn't that magical? But I did. I knew coming along the way that it was my last tournament style fight, and so I
Yeah.
did know, like, when I had that moment at the end of the middle block, that I got to sit with myself and say, okay, this is my last time stepping on the mat as Samantha LaRusso. So I was at peace with it.
Like Samantha's had some intense fights throughout the years. Now, is there a specific person that you didn't fight that you kind of hoped you did at one point, but it never happened, or even like what was like your favorite fight overall? So two part question.
Yeah, two part. I feel like I always love the. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of fights that I love, but I loved the tournament fighting with Tori in
Mm.
season 4. I think it's like a fun marker to go, okay, the season 2 school fight,
Okay.
the season 4 tournament fight, and then season 6. Actually, I loved the fight for the captainship. That was kind of Peyton and I each getting to uh, that was almost our kind of final moment to fight each other. We got kind of the sparring in the last block, which was a blast, and that actually was the last fight scene that I've ever like that I filmed
Yeah.
was that because we shot him out of order. But that was my last fight scene that I would get to film, and that was super touching and wonderful. But I always go back to also the Sam versus Sam dream sequence fight with the
Okay.
size and bow staff, just because that was so unique and something I never saw coming. So it was really fun to do that.
Mm. How about Samantha's relationship with Miguel now? Then, this is a major part of her journey too. Like, how do you are you happy with the ending for that one? The way it ended with Miguel?
Yeah, I think I went back and forth where I was like, man, no, I want them to end up together. No, I want them to end up apart. No, I want them to end up together. No, I want them to end up apart because they both have come through so many ups and downs. So I think I saw
Yeah.
both sides of the argument. And I think the beauty of it is to me, it feels a little bit like the ending of Inception, where you kind of have to
Mm.
decide how you believe it happens. Um, but I feel this, what I love about them is that they both grew and that they both celebrated each other's growth. That's something that's like so important to who I am as a person, that getting to see Samantha and Miguel have that. Well, I guess, I mean, and in Robbie and in Tori, like it's in all of their characters and
Mm.
these kind of final moments, like truly every one of them has gotten to like close the circle of the thing that they started with. Like
Mm.
Tori didn't let anyone in, and then she, by letting people in, was able to be a champion. And Sam, tried to fight the fight on everybody's behalf and didn't often ask for help. And she kind of got to bring that around. And I feel that with her, with Sam and Miguel specifically, is their connection is starts with this like fun, happy, let's explore something, and then as soon as karate gets involved, everything goes haywire. And then getting to have them end back at a place where it's like it's just you and me again, like karate aside, like you and me, let's what do we want for our lives, and then being able to champion each other's future with or without something to keep them together, I think is really powerful.
Mm. How surprised were you when you were reading the script when you saw, like Samantha's going to choose to go to Okinawa and then Miguel at the end decides he's going along?
It wasn't in the original version. Miguel wasn't
Wow.
going.
Oh, wow.
So there was a version of the script where it was just Sam going off on her own, and then there was a version that came out with Miguel. And again, it was one of those things where I saw both sides, and both things felt right. And that I think is the most fun part. Is I do feel like everybody will be satisfied no matter what. But the Okinawa aspect, I'm so freaking excited about. Like I love that Samantha has opened her eyes to the wide world around her, outside of the valley, outside of her bubble, outside of her
Mm.
safe space, and is stepping out of her comfort zone. And I like that even when she was intending to step out of her comfort zone, she was going to keep a little piece of Miguel with her. And then to know that now she gets to just have Miguel with her. Like, I love the idea of them getting to like go back to what they started with, which was before they ever kissed or dated or anything, they were
Right.
friends.
Mm. You mentioned earlier about Tori and Samantha too. I enjoyed that scene where you were like the sensei pretty much training her to get her ready for the tournament. Tell us a little about that.
That was so fun. I mean, I think Peyton and I both have loved getting to nourish that relationship, and
Mm.
in now what feels like it's infancy. We used to say, oh my god, it's so hard to pretend to hate you, because like I love Peyton, she's the nicest human ever, so like
Uh,
pretending to hate her, I'm like, this is so tough. And then we started getting scenes where we were supposed to like each other, and I was like, wait a minute, how is this harder than trying to hate you? Because
mm.
now I have to figure out how to pretend to like you only a little bit, and I like you so much. And it was easier when I just didn't have to like you at all, and I did, you know what I mean? Like, so finding the nuances and growing that was nerve wracking. It was super exciting, um, but really, like, I love the idea that again that Tori struggles with letting people in, and she let Sam in, and that Sam struggles with passing the baton and letting somebody else take the fight. And when is the right time to step aside, even if you think that you can save the day. And I love that they like, that's truly, to me, that's their little happy ending.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. You know what the fans are going to be disappointed about, I think, and I wrote it down here too. Like they're going to be a little disappointed about we didn't see more of Mary and Axel.
That's so funny. I didn't realize that was gonna be a whole thing until the middle drop happened, and people, like,
Yeah.
all the comments, they're like, oh my god, like what if we see more Sam? I was like, whoa, wait, what? Like, to me, that was, I will say Patrick is a superstar. I love working with
Yeah.
him. He's such a great human. So I would have loved more opportunities for scenes with him, but I do think it would be really funny if those scenes were more of, and who knows, maybe he ends up in Okinawa someday and runs into her, and they all train karate together, her, Miguel, and Patrick, but or I mean and Axel. But I like to imagine that those scenes wouldn't obviously not be at any point romantic, but rather be just
Or
an
friendship or
unlikely
something.
friendship. Yeah.
Mm. What's your thoughts about Crease and Silver with that boat scene explosion, whatever you want to call
It's
it?
so fun. I love that. That's so fun to me. I mean, and it's also like, I don't know, it's one of those things to me that's like, that's so Cobra Kai. Like as soon as
Mm.
like I literally finished the scene, I was like, this is so us. Like just literally going out with a bang, literally. Like I just think it's so epic. And also I think it's a fun way to really say like nobody can out enemy the enemy, nobody can out villain the villain. Like it's a fun way to just say, there's no other way their stories could have arced.
Do you think they're dead?
I I don't believe that boat killed them. I can't
Mm.
believe it. Like I
Right.
don't believe the boat killed them. Now, do I think that they continued that fight underwater maybe somehow? I don't know, but I just can't imagine that that boat is what took them out. I have to believe it was karate.
Mm. I can definitely see that. What about the wedding? What'd you think about that for the
Oh,
season?
I loved that. And I honestly was so sad that Sam didn't get to be there because I know I would have embarrassed myself by crying. But it was really fun because that was the episode that Billy was directing. And so that was, obviously Tori and Sam are training at the time. It was really nice to kind of have the girls have their own thing and get to have that time. I don't know if we would have gotten it if everybody had been mixed into the same scene, but I sobbed like a baby watching it. I was just like a complete mess because I was so happy for Johnny, so happy for Miguel, so happy for Robbie. Like they all deserve that family. I thought it was so cute.
The big question is now, you finished filming Cobra Kai, the series. What did you take from set to remember?
I have a few things. I have um things from like a little bit from every different season, and I we have our geese. That's I think the
Okay.
most special thing that I just can't like that would have been heartbreaking to have to let those go. That was like the most special thing to take away. I also have like they got ruined sadly during travel, but I have the actual original photo strips from the first date with Sam and Miguel.
Okay.
The little photo strips that printed out, they got ruined in travel once, and I was so sad about it. But I do have them. I have like little bits and pieces throughout the series, but I think the geese are definitely the best takeaway.
Now, Samantha, she's left a big impact on the Cobra Kai Karate Kid universe. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, everybody is gonna, have an opinion one way or another. To me, I've been so grateful for how kind and loving and wonderful everybody in this fandom is toward the LaRusso family. And for better or worse, sometimes we
Hmm.
drive everybody up the wall. That's okay. It's I had a friend say, what did they say? I'm not for everyone and I shouldn't be. There's moments where you do kind of need to have that anger and that frustration and that why won't you just
Uh,
see sense. But I think the most important thing that I've taken away is a sense of community, and that's something that's like throughout. I mean, people love this world and love this franchise, and to be a part of it is just so insane. It's like so pinch me unreal.
hmm.
And then on top of that, to have people embrace Samantha and connect with her. I've had people tell me, and there's a lot of aspects of her that are Mary. And so putting that on screen, it feels so vulnerable sometimes, and to have people come up and connect with me on those very things, to bring up a scene to me that they resonated with, and me knowing in my mind, I'm like, oh, that was a Maryism. Like that was a thing that is from my life. And the fact that you get it is just so wonderful to know.
What are you gonna miss about all this?
Everything. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Like this is the greatest group of people, like from every which way. We have an incredible crew. We've had an incredible cast, obviously, and we all get to hang out and do this kind of stuff together. But I will absolutely. It's the people for sure. Like the days were hard, um, and they were long and they were grueling, but worth every second. Only as grueling as they were because all of us poured our whole heart into it. I think other people could have showed up and given half, but none of us did. Every one of us wanted it to be 100% of what it was capable of being, and I think that's the only way you get the product you get.
I know I've asked you this in other interviews too, but if there's a prequel or or a spin-off or even just a movie, a Netflix movie, would you jump on the opportunity to come back?
I absolutely would. Yeah, I'm not done with Samantha. I like will carry her with me in my heart. I will have her be a part of my life forever, but I would love an opportunity to see what she's up to.
I want to end this with the Johnny fight. What was your thoughts on that?
It was a blast. Are you kidding? I got to like stand side stage for the greatest show of all time. That was so freaking fun. Literally just standing beside Ralph as he got to tell Billy to stop being such a pussy and get back out there was just incredible. I mean, it was so unreal.
Did you ever think Ralph
That
was going to wear Cobra Kai gi again?
No, and specifically the black geese. I
Yeah.
putting on a black gi felt so foreign to me. I was literally like walking around like, what is this? Who has done this to me? Also, they chafe in weird places, that gi. I will say I have more sympathy now for my castmates that I'm like, damn, you were sweating it out in this thing.
What's your message to the Cobra Kai universe, to the fans?
Oh my God. I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna try not to. Um, I think my message is just one of gratitude. Like I keep saying it and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face because it's like the the way that the fans have embraced us is the only way in which we've gotten to make what we have. Like we are only here because you guys are you. If I can say anything, it's that like I am so grateful for the opportunity. And I'm so grateful because it truly has felt like a family. Like as much as all of our crew and cast have felt like family, the fans have felt like family too. Every time I get an opportunity to meet somebody and connect with them, it just feels so surreal to know that there are people all over the world who are right there in those moments with us. And we've taken that to heart and we've brought it to set with us. And we talk about it on a daily basis on set. Like, we all talk to each other about what it feels like, what the fans would think, what would ever so and so think
Right.
of this moment, what would so and so think of this scene that we've just gotten to write and we've just gotten to do. It's felt like they've been with us there from the beginning, and now it's just so surreal to feel like we all get to kind of hold hands and end this thing together. I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, amazing. Mary, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. This is great. I've enjoyed talking to you every time. Hopefully, we'll see you back on future projects. We can jump back on, talk about other things as well.
I love it. I look forward to it.
So, thank you.